Leaders of the world's 20 richest countries are expected to extend debt relief for poorer nations until the end of the year. G20 finance ministers will meet virtually in the next few hours. Discussions will be dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change. The group is likely to back a $650 billion boost in the IMF's emergency reserves. The US is also pushing for a global minimum corporate tax for the first time in a generation. Seema Gupta joins us live now from Rome. Seema, are negotiators likely to agree on a global minimum tax?
Well, we'll have to see what they decide at this meeting organized here in Rome, of course, because Italy does hold the current presidency of the G20. And so it's organized here in Rome, but is happening virtually. And what happens is essentially the US Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, earlier this week talked about this idea of a global minimum tax on corporate profits. And really, this will be her chance to press her case and push for her case with the leaders of the G20. The US envisions a 21% minimum corporate tax rate. Now, while the EU has backed such a call and such an idea, the European Commission, for its part, has said that the rate should be decided by the OECD, or the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. They've already been working on a global tax scheme for some time, and the belief in the EU is that they're the ones who should decide on the rate. So we'll have to see how the talks here progress, and they still have to convince over 100 countries to join in on such an idea and to come up with a decision by mid-year is what they say they hope to do. We'll have to see how countries respond, because smaller economies, for instance, such as that of Ireland, the finance minister of Ireland has already expressed concern about such a global tax rate, saying that they already have a low tax model in order to attract international investment into their country. So there are concerns about how it will actually play out. For the moment, though, we'll have to see what they come up with at the end of this meeting of finance ministers as well as central bank governors being organized here in Rome, but being held virtually, of course, because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And meanwhile, Seema, there are also calls for more to be done to help poorer nations.
Yes, indeed. In fact, helping those poorer nations that have been reeling from the health as well as economic impact of the pandemic. And in fact, what we do expect these countries to agree on is at least some $650 billion of a boost to the IMF emergency fund. Now, this will better help these more vulnerable countries deal with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And they're also expected to agree to extend, at least for a final time, they say, of a freeze on debt services payments by the poorest countries, at least till the end of 2021. So that will definitely help those poor countries free up money in order to spend that money perhaps on vaccines or other kinds of stimulus measures. There are reports that some 250 faith groups as well as non-profit organizations have extended a letter to the G20 to ask them to cancel the debt altogether in order to help these poorer countries not just deal with the pandemic, but other issues that they're facing. For the moment, at least, they're hoping to get a freeze in terms of debt service payments. And we'll have to see, as I said, what happens at the end of this crucial meeting that's being organized here in Rome of the G20 countries.
Seema, thank you. Seema Gupta there in Rome.